According to UN Women, achieving gender equality requires an inclusive approach that both recognizes men and boys as partners for women's rights and acknowledges how they stand to benefit from greater equality. That's exactly what we call he for she. Let's take you to Sirg NGO Chennai, founded by a young man, Vedant Raj Lohia, a unique platform for women for self development and independence by providing professional skills free of cost, such as tailoring, making handicrafts by jute, etc. Apart from training, the NGO arranges various awareness campaigns to protect the women's rights and healthcare campaigns for children and women.
So, what is your name? What is your English? What is your name? How will you spend the whole day?
How do you find Siragu and experience in Siragu?
Sites, they are working for marketing and promoting those products which are made by these women, especially acid survivors, victims of domestic violence, widows, and slum women. We spoke to Vedant to understand his entrepreneurial journey and working model of Silk Foundation. Let's watch it. Hi Vedant, we are very delighted to have you on our show and thank you so much for joining us.
Hi Rajni, thank you so much for having me on the show. It's indeed a pleasure to be a part of Wow Women, and thank you so much.
Please share your entrepreneurial journey as a founder of Sirgu Foundation, and is there any significant story in the name Sirgu itself?
My entrepreneurial journey with Siriga began in the first year of my university, and it was pretty much by accident. In our college, there was a project in which we had to go to the slums in Chennai, and I was in the women empowerment team, and we had to do something on women empowerment. We didn't know what exactly to do because we didn't want to do it like everyone else by giving a talk or giving them something free. We wanted to do something different, and that's when the entire churning started happening of what we can do differently. We did extensive market research. We used to go to the slum and spend almost hours, like 3 to 4 hours in a day, speaking to different women as to what they would want to do, how we can help them, etc. And after a lot of market research, we found out that tailoring is one skill which they are comfortable learning, or if they already know, comfortable developing, and even their families will not stop there. So we thought, why don't we do this? Next to the slum area, why don't we rent out a small little space in which we set up a few tailoring units, and these women can come on a daily basis, they can learn how to do tailoring, and that's how it will help them. The idea developed at every stage, and it has really helped us, because what used to happen is, in the lower income areas, there used to be a lot of cases of domestic violence and many other things where women were not treated equally, because obviously the husband or the breadwinner of the family used to think that since he is earning the money, he has the right over it, and he can treat his wife, his children in any which way possible. And the sheer idea of women coming to work from these slum areas and earning something on a day-to-day basis sparked an idea within us that, okay, why don't we do this? Because this might really help reduce a lot of family issues that these women might be facing and other issues they face in the society. And that's how the journey of Siriga started. The word Siriga is very interesting. It is a Tamil word which means wings. And our entire objective is to provide wings of change for these women by empowering them through skill development and also helping them become financially independent, such as to know how to use this money effectively and to grow themselves and their families and the people around them.
How did you gravitate towards being a social entrepreneur? What is the story behind it?
So I became a social entrepreneur by accident, I would say. But I was grown up in a family in which the word entrepreneurship, the word business, being born in a family business environment, was always something to wonder about. So I always used to wonder what it would be to be an entrepreneur, what it would be to run a business of my own or start an organization of my own. And as I just stated, I think social entrepreneurship was just by accident. But I've seen my family members do a lot of philanthropic activities throughout my growing years, and I've seen the impact that it can cause. So I really wanted to do something on the similar lines. I wanted to create a module through which the people, the low income areas benefit as well, and also helps the organization to grow. So I think that's how I became a social entrepreneur. So one experience that gave me faith that yes, we are on the right direction was just a couple of months before the lockdown. About two women came up to me and they told me that the domestic violence cases in their house had reduced considerably, and this happened because of Siriga. So what happened is that these women used to work with us, they used to earn money, they used to take it to their homes, and they used to contribute to their family income. Gradually, the husband started developing respect for the woman because she was contributing to the family income, and even the society as a whole started developing respect that yes, this woman can earn and she can help the society and the family grow. So the husband started respecting his wife and the domestic violence cases reduced, and this really instilled the faith in me that yes, we are going in the right direction.
Vedant, can you explain the mission, vision, process and the working model of Sirgu Foundation by which the organization supports women?
So the mission of Siriga is to empower women, but we want to do it in a very different manner. We want to do it through skill development and helping them become financially independent. So what happens is when a woman joins us at Siriga, we first assess their technical skills, that is in the field of tailoring, because that is our field of expertise. If they do not know tailoring, then we help them learn tailoring, and if they know, we help them develop their skills. The women engage in making eco-friendly products out of jute, out of recycled cloth, out of upcycled denim material, and out of different items and also different handicrafts such as candles, artificial jewelry, soap, etc. Once they make these products, we sell it through various offline and online mediums, maybe through exhibitions or maybe through different corporate orders that we get, or some organizations or individuals that place orders with us. We sell the products to them. The money that comes in, a part of it goes in the remuneration for these women, because these women are paid per product. We have kept this model as per product because it motivates the women to make more and more products, to engage more in work. Because what we see is if we keep a fixed amount per month, many of the women tend to lose out the motivation. They think that irrespective of how many products or how many items they make, they will still get the same amount of money. So having a per product cost really helps the women to be motivated, and that's why we had that model. So part of it goes for the remuneration, and with the other part we see how we can grow the impact size of the organization, give other facilities to these women. So we believe a lot in conducting workshops for these women, especially in areas such as financial literacy, because earning money is one part of it, but managing money is more important. We don't want them to take the money and give it to someone, to their husband, and if the husband does not have very good habits, he might use it in various other ways. So we want them to use that constructively. So we help them to decide how much they can invest, how much they should use in their child's education, how much they should use in different areas of their growth and their development. And that really helps the woman plan out her expenses. So this is the kind of working module that we operate with. Till date, we've almost touched about the lives of 500 women directly, and in the coming years, we want to see how we can expand and grow this at an exponential rate.
How could your organization help women currently in COVID-19 crisis?
In the current COVID crisis, we have been extensively helping the women that were working with us and also their families living in the low-income communities in Chennai. So just right after the lockdown, we started a campaign called Project Feeding Chennai, through which we were distributing hygiene kits and food packages to the people in the low-income communities, especially the daily wage workers, the migrant workers and their families. We were distributing rice, dal, cooking oil, which are the basic necessities. And for this hygiene kit, we were distributing sanitary pads and bathing soap. Sanitary pads because the women in these communities do not exactly know what sanitary pads are. And this is the correct time to get them to know what these are, because sanitation for all of us is our topmost priority in the current scenario. Till date, as I'm talking, we have reached out to over 20,000 people and we have distributed over 30,000 kgs of rice and about 50,000 sanitary pads. The response from the community has really been overwhelming. The people have really appreciated the work that we are doing, and we are also very happy that we are able to support them, help them in this scenario where they actually require a lot of help. I would just like to say that if we all in some way can help empower the people around us, either empowering them through our thoughts or empowering them by giving them employment or empowering them by helping them stand on their own feet. And when I say empowering the people around us, I do not mean that you really have to find people living in low-income communities or slums or people who have really been affected. As we all know, charity and help begins at home. So it would be great if people can start empowering the people around them. It could be from their house help to their servant maids or even to their family members who might require help. That would be a great start, and we will definitely be on the correct path to build a new and much more empowered and happy world.
Thank you so much, Vedant, for being with us and sharing the concept of Sirga Foundation with us. We wish you all the best for your all future endeavors and projects. Thank you so much once again.
So much, Rajni, for having me today at Wow Women. It was indeed a pleasure talking to you, and I wish you all the best for all the amazing work that you have been doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for watching. Bye.
How do you find Siragu and experience in Siragu?
என் பொண்ணு டியூஷன் படிக்கிற இடத்துல வந்து சிறகுலேருந்து வந்திருந்தாங்க. அங்கே ராணி மேடம், ஏமா மேடம் வந்து பேசுனாங்க. இங்கே என்ன சொல்லித்தராங்க, என்ன எப்படி சொல்லித்தராங்கன்னு சொல்லிட்டு தான் பேசுனாங்க. வந்து அது கேட்டுட்டு தான் நானும் இன்னும் 2 பேரண்ட்ஸ் வந்தோம். வந்துட்டு அவங்களுக்கு டைமிங் செட் ஆகல, நாங்கள் கிளம்பி போயிட்டாங்க. அப்புறம் எனக்கு டைமிங் செட்டாக இருந்தது இல்லை இவங்க சொன்ன டைமிங். அதனால் நான் இங்கே வந்து இது கற்றுக்கிட்டேன். எனக்கு எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸுன்னு கேட்டிங்கன்னா, எனக்கு வெறும் சாதா மிஷின் மட்டும்தான், எனக்கு பெடல் மிஷின் மட்டும்தான் எனக்கு தைக்க தெரியும். பவர் மிஷின் எனக்கு தைக்க தெரியாது. இங்கே வந்து நான் பவர் மிஷின் அடிக்க கற்றுட்டேன். பேக்ஸு அப்புறம் நிறைய இந்த பர்ஸெல்லாம் கூட நல்லா தைக்க கற்றுக்கிட்டேன்.
எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் இன் Siragu.
இங்கே வந்து நான் நிறைய பேகு இந்த மாதிரி நிறையெல்லாம் நான் கற்றுக்கிட்டேன். இன்னும் நிறைய கற்றுக்கணுன்னு நான் ஆசைப்பட்றேன்.
உங்கள் ட்ரீம் என்ன?
என்னுடைய பசங்க வந்து நல்லா படித்து அவங்க ஒரு நல்ல நிலைமையில் இருக்கணும். அதுதான் என்னுடைய கனவு.
உங்கள் லைஃப்பில் எதனா சேஞ்சஸ் பண்ணணும்னு நினைக்கிறீங்களா?
ஆமாம். நான் இங்கே இதெல்லாம் கற்றுக்கிட்டு நான் அதே மாதிரி நிறைய பேருக்கு சொல்லிக் கொடுக்கணும்னு எனக்கு ஒரு ஆசை.